Now, when you told your friends you were coming to Taiwan,
yes.
What's their reaction?
Yeah, so when I say I'm going to Taiwan, so firstly people think I mean Thailand. So then I say...
Number one, they're confused.
Yes, they're confused. They don't know where it is, so I explain where it is. So they're confused by the name, they don't know where it is. And then thirdly, if those who do know a little bit more say, oh yeah, there's a problem there, isn't it, with an invasion from the Chinese, aren't you worried going there? And I say... No, it's one of the safest, loveliest countries I've ever been to, and
correct.
And I feel it's just a lovely place.
Now we are back in beautiful Thailand, where you love to visit. Tell me your feelings.
Well, I every time I come to Taiwan, I say, take me to Tainan. I love Tainan, and can we go to Confucius Temple? Because the first time this will be the third time. The first time we came here, this just blew my mind, this place. It's absolutely lovely. I love all this, it's the colour I like, and it's just such a calming place. And you explained all the history, and I read some of the history. I thought it was fascinating. And when we go over these roads in a minute, there's something...
Quirky and bustling streets.
Yeah.
But you have noticed in your time in Taiwan, you do feel that there seems to be a lack of tourism here.
Well, I was saying that to you, and then you explained to me that that there isn't a big market for tourism, but I don't understand why. This is such a beautiful country. You know, the food, the fruit, these historical things. We read about them, but no one visits. Now, obviously, I do see there are a number of people who have Western people who come here, but you tell me they probably live here. What I would like to see, and I don't understand why it isn't happening, is, well, people in England would love to come here. People in Europe would love to travel here. So why isn't Taiwan selling itself to the world as a tourism place? You've got so much culture. I mean, unbelievable culture. And I mean, obviously it can be very hot here, but this time of year is a wonderful time.
Perfect.
And Western people would probably cope with some of the heat. I don't cope with the heat very well, but they would. Yeah, I think Taiwan needs to be selling itself.
I think the problem perhaps lies that Taiwan is not really doing a good international marketing campaign of itself, and also on an international platform.
And obviously when I'm out and about and we're visiting places, I see lots of advertisement about things that are happening. So clearly loads of local, I would suppose, tourist information. Because I always see people visiting the Confucius Temple, for example, and they've come from around. But I think the country could really benefit from being opened up to international travellers. Yeah, it's not a difficult journey to Taiwan. It's an easy flight, plenty of flights.
Now, your job, you work in case management.
Yes.
As a, what's that called?
So I organise and arrange services for people who have specific needs. So
what would be the first problem that you would identify here?
Well, firstly, I wouldn't say so many problems. I would say some positives. I would say here in Taiwan, everywhere you go, there's facilities for disabled people.
Yes, the infrastructure exists.
So there is good infrastructure. There's good access. I mean, there are places where you can't move along the path safely with pushchairs. I noticed that because obviously, I like to see the nice, safe path. So I do notice things like that. I see good opportunities for eating and drinking, good food, good fluids. The transport system is amazing, second to none. So I travelled on my own. I arrived in the airport because I surprised you. Yes. And I came down on the underground and the high-speed train. Yes. And it was all, the signage was good, the signage was clear. Yes. It was really easy to negotiate. So I think that nothing needs to happen there. That is amazing.
Right. So basically it seems to be a lack of international exposure.
That's what I think. I think that's the problem. No one knows about it. I don't think there needs to be too much change. I mean, obviously locally there's nothing signed up in English. So for me, if I came out alone, I would find it very difficult to eat because lack of English menus. Yeah, but if we went to chains, big well-known places, that's slightly different. Now, and I say English people are very lazy, but we wouldn't expect English people to know Chinese.
It would be too difficult.
That would be too difficult. So there would perhaps need to be some help with some communication. But we saw the roads signed up with English telling us to come here to Confucius. So I don't expect to see English around, but it's got the groundworks for international travel.
It just needs to Taiwan needs to market itself to the world.
It needs to sell itself, yeah. I'd love to go back and sell it.
I also feel, though, that the Western media and other media have played Taiwan off as this sort of flashpoint and danger zone within the world, where the World War III is about to break out at any moment, which obviously is not true.
Yeah, so
and it's hyped up.
In England, if I said telling them I was coming to Taiwan, that's the first thing they'd say.
There's fear.
And I play that down, the fear. But then that's a culture we live with in England, where they like to put the fear of God into us.
So basically there needs to be an international marketing campaign.
Yeah, I think so.
Because Taiwan actually has everything.
I think it does. I mean, these historical places,
historical sites,
places, the food, the drink, the people are so lovely and so welcoming. And although I can't communicate, I smile, they smile. They're lovely people. It's a very warm place. There's modern shops, there's old shops. It's very quirky. It's beautiful, and we haven't even talked about the coast, have we? The sea.
Well, especially the east coast. I mean, it's like Hawaii or something. It's just beautiful.
Yeah, and I went down to Kending. Yeah, I did scuba diving, didn't I, down there?
Yes.
And that was an amazing experience.
All right then.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Subscribe.